Prime Minister Modi launches the Kashi Vishwanath corridor project in his constituency Varanasi in pole-bound Uttar Pradesh. Performing various rituals and prayers, even takes a dip in the Ganga. All of it covered live on national television and beamed across Uttar Pradesh. Gujarat adds almost 10,000 new COVID-19 deaths, revises the state's tally to 19,964, almost double of what the government originally declared. The CBSE drops a controversial passage from a Class 10 English exam perpetuating gender stereotypes after a nationwide outrage that also reached Parliament. Sonia Gandhi called it blatantly misogynist. And Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the 339 crore rupee Kashi Vishwanath corridor on Monday, just 2 months before the UP elections. All BJP chief ministers and over 3,000 seers attended the launch of the project, which is crucial for the party ahead of the state polls next year. This is the third project that the Prime Minister inaugurated in Uttar Pradesh in a week, and the Kashi launch was a full-on, day-long extravaganza. In some of the key moments, Prime Minister Modi was seen taking a dip in the Ganga, throwing flowers at the construction workers who built the corridor that links the iconic Kashi Vishwanath temple with the ghats of the Ganga. The Prime Minister was then filmed having lunch with them, offering prayers at the Kal Bhairav temple and accepting a turban from a common man. All of it captured on cameras and filmed live across the state.
The cameras firmly focused on Prime Minister Narendra Modi as he inaugurated phase 1 of the Kashi Vishwanath corridor project that connects two icons in the holy city of Varanasi, the Ganga Ghats to the Kashi Vishwanath temple, and cost 339 crore rupees to build. A government project that's been turned into a mega day-long event. The Prime Minister also led the main rituals inside the Kashi Vishwanath temple, with not even Chief Minister Adityanath present, reaffirming Modi's lead role for the BJP in the UP polls. In this lengthy speech inside the Kashi corridor complex, the Prime Minister invoked politics, gulami or colonization, and even the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb.
मुझे खुशी है कि सदियों की गुलामी ने हम पर जो प्रभाव डाला था, जिस हीन भावना से भारत को भर दिया गया था, अब आज का भारत उससे बाहर निकल रहा है। आज का भारत सिर्फ अयोध्या में प्रभु श्री राम का मंदिर ही नहीं बना रहा, बल्कि देश के हर जिले में मेडिकल कॉलेज भी बना रहा। औरंगजेब के अत्याचार, उसके आतंक का इतिहास साक्षी है, जिसने संस्कृति को कट्टरता से कुचलने की कोशिश की। जहां अगर औरंगजेब आता है तो शिवाजी भी उठ खड़े होते हैं।
For the BJP, the political hype around the corridor reflected in the massive build-up to the inauguration, from social media to an on-ground media saturation. Chief ministers of all BJP-ruled states are in Varanasi and will take part in a conclave with the Prime Minister. The inauguration was beamed live across UP and the country.
राष्ट्रपिता महात्मा गांधी ने इसी काशी में आकर के अपनी पीड़ा को व्यक्त किया था। यहाँ की गलियों, तंग गलियों को देख करके, यहाँ की गंदगी को देख करके, गांधी जी के नाम पर बहुत सारे लोगों ने सत्ता प्राप्त की होगी, लेकिन गांधी जी के उस सपने को साकार करने का कार्य कि काशी बाबा विश्वनाथ का धाम इस भव्य रूप में हो, वह पहली बार हम सबको देखने को प्राप्त हो रहा है।
All this despite questions over the intertwining of religion and politics and the opposition's attack on the BJP for what they call the use of government events for political gains. All schools in Varanasi were shut today and teachers deputed to light lamps on Varanasi ghats.
यहाँ तकरीबन 5000 से चक से शिकायत लगे हुए हैं ड्यूटी में।
और क्या क्या कर रहे हैं आप
यहाँ पे रंगोली, पेंटिंग्स और दीप प्रज्वलन का कार्य सारे घाटों को सुसज्जित करने में सहयोग कर रहे हैं।
आप ही लोग कर रहे हैं?
जी बिल्कुल।
दिए जलवाना या रंगोली बनवाना आपके हिसाब से मतलब ये सही है सरकारी इवेंट में इस तरह काम करवाना, या आपका प्राथमिकता शिक्षा होनी चाहिए?
प्राथमिकता शिक्षा है सर, हमारा विद्यालय खाली नहीं है। मतलब प्रत्येक विद्यालय से 1 या 2 शिक्षक की ही ड्यूटी लगाई गई है, बाकी शिक्षक विद्यालय पे अपना कार्य कर रहे हैं।
On the streets of Varanasi, diverse opinion over the project.
जो कहते हैं तकलीफ होती है, तो मैं उनसे कहूंगी कि भाई उनको तकलीफ ना हो, क्योंकि हम हिंदू हैं और हम हिंदुस्तान में रहते हैं। और सच बात, मोदी जी के आने से पहले बार लग रहा है कि हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं, लेकिन ऐसा मुझे नहीं लग रहा है। हमारे साथ बहुत मुस्लिम भाई हैं, बहुत सारे धर्मों के लोग हैं, हम लोग मिलते जा रहे हैं, सब एक दूसरे को बधाई दे रहे हैं।
While the opening of the corridor will definitely ease access between the ghats and the iconic Kashi Vishwanath temple, it is the political hype around the project that the BJP hopes to cash in ahead of the 2022 assembly election in UP. With Vineet Verma and Ajay Singh, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
And several of the projects launched by the BJP before the UP polls have triggered attacks from the opposition leaders, including the former UP Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav, who says that they were initiated by the previous Samajwadi Party's government. On Monday, though, the former UP Chief Minister took a swipe at the Prime Minister and the BJP that ran into controversy. Here's what he said.
बहुत अच्छी बात है, 1 महीना नहीं, 2 महीना, 3 महीने वहीं रहें, अच्छी बात है। वो जगह रहने वाली है, आखिरी समय पर वहीं रह जाता है बनारस में।
And Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb and India's independence from the British rule also figured in the Prime Minister's speech in Kashi, but there was no mention of India's COVID numbers. This on a day when the number of COVID deaths in India went up by 2%. An uptick in the number of COVID deaths came after it emerged that the number of COVID deaths in Gujarat were double than what was initially reported by the government. And 2 Jammu and Kashmir armed police personnel have died and at least 12 have been injured after 2 terrorists attacked a police bus near a police camp at Zawan on the outskirts of Srinagar. Naseem Masoodi has the details.
This is the biggest attack in recent times in Kashmir, and attack happened at a place which is actually dotted it or housing a number of security installations. You name any security forces, central forces, paramilitary forces or army, it has a camp here in Zawan. Yet militants came here, carried out a major attack, resorted to heavy firing on a bus. Whatever sources tell us that they tried to get inside the bus, but the doors were locked, so they could not, so they resorted indiscriminate firing, and police have so far confirmed that 2 personnel have been killed. They have come to their injuries. One is Assistant Sub-Inspector of Police, another is a selection grade constable. 12 others are injured. They have been shifted to hospital where they are being treated, and condition of some of them is stated to be critical. That is what we know. But the challenge is when you have such a high security zone and getting militants into this area, carrying out an attack and then managing to escape. So soon after the attack, a cordon search operation was launched, and we saw security force everywhere here, cordon entire area, carried out searches, but attackers have managed to escape. This is the second attack in last 3 days. Earlier, there was an attack on police party in Bandipur where 2 policemen were killed. That time police said it was a Pakistani militant who carried out the attack. Then yesterday, Director General of Police Dilbag Singh said there has been fresh infiltration. So the question is, why those who recently infiltrated part of this attack, or it was the local militants who were involved in this attack? That remains a question.
And the number of Omicron cases in India has gone up to 40 after 2 more cases were reported from Maharashtra on Monday. Maharashtra reported 2 more cases, one from Latur and one from Pune. 20 cases of Omicron have now been reported from the state of Maharashtra so far. And the first death due to the Omicron variant of the coronavirus has been reported from the UK. Britain, among the countries worst hit by the global health crisis since last year, is believed to be the first government to officially announce a death from the virus mutation. Prime Minister Boris Johnson sounded the alarm because of high levels and rising rates of transmission. And in a rare televised address, Johnson said that emergency measures were needed to prevent hospitals from becoming overwhelmed in the weeks ahead, and he launched an ambitious COVID booster shot program to stop the virus's spread. And former Chief Justice of India and nominated Rajya Sabha MP Ranjan Gogoi is in trouble after his controversial remarks about his attendance in the upper house in his recent interview to NDTV. Two TMC MPs have now submitted notices to initiate privilege motions against Ranjan Gogoi for his statements. Here's what happened.
I go to the Rajya Sabha when I feel like, when I think there are matters of importance on which I should speak.
Okay.
Right?
Have you been able to ask any questions?
And I am a nominated member.
Right.
I am not governed by any party whip.
Sure.
So, right. And therefore, whenever the bell rings for party members to come, that doesn't bind me.
Okay.
I go there at my choice,
All right.
and I come out at my choice.
Okay.
I am an independent member of the House.
It's these comments made to NDTV which may have landed ex-Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi in trouble. Two TMC MPs have moved the Rajya Sabha for initiating privilege motions, saying Ranjan Gogoi's statements amount to contempt of Rajya Sabha, Gogoi's statements undermine the dignity of the Rajya Sabha, and refer the matter to the Committee of Privileges.
Against this, the Trinamool Congress has decided to bring a privilege motion. The privilege motion will be duly submitted, and then Ranjan Gogoi needs to be hauled up before the privilege committee of Rajya Sabha.
Congress MP Ami Yajnik has also submitted privilege notice against Ranjan Gogoi.
रंजन गोगोई के खिलाफ आपने प्रिविलेज मोशन का नोटिस दिया?
हाँ, दिया है।
या किस ग्राउंड पे दिया है? मैं
उन्होंने अभी रिसेंटली पब्लिक डोमेन में बताया है कि मैं इच्छा है तो मैं जाता हूँ पार्लियामेंट, वरना नहीं जाता हूँ.
Justice Gogoi, seen in Parliament today, refused to comment. As per the procedure, if the Rajya Sabha chairman finds merit in the notice, the same can be forwarded to the Privilege Committee. And based on the report of the committee, if the motion is passed in the upper house, Gogoi might also lose his Rajya Sabha membership. With Arvind Gunasekhar, Usama Shab for NDTV.
And ahead of elections next year, the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is in Goa for a two-day trip, her second visit in as many months. The visit comes amid speculation, growing speculation actually, of a possible alliance or a tie-up with Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party, despite denials from both the AAP and the TMC. Both the AAP and the Trinamool Congress are looking to displace the Congress as the principal opposition party in the coastal state.
Mamata Banerjee on her second trip to Goa in as many months, pledging to fight the BJP, also defining what the TMC stands for.
TMC also it is church, temple and mosque. And fight करते हैं किसका साथ? बीजेपी का साथ. क्या जीतने का संभावना है? आप लोगों को भरोसा है कि आप जीत सकते हैं?
As Goa prepares for elections, the TMC says it's already opened its account in Goa even before the votes are cast. Benoli MLA Churchill Alamau, a former CM of Goa, and his daughter Valanka joining the Trinamool Congress. Alamau, the lone NCP MLA, merged with the Bengal party, which is trying to make its mark in Goa. Alamau was supposed to join earlier, but Mamata's scheduled meeting with NCP Supremo Sharad Pawar delayed the switch from NCP to TMC. But the talk of the town is a possible tie-up between the TMC and the Aam Aadmi Party.
हम वोट डिवाइड करने के लिए आए नहीं हैं, हम वोट को यूनाइट करने के लिए और तृणमूल कांग्रेस के अलायंस को जिताने के लिए बीजेपी का ऑल्टरनेटिव नहीं है. अगर किसी को इसको सपोर्ट करना है तो डिसीजन वो लोगों को लेना है, हमारा डिसीजन तो हो चुका है.
The Aam Aadmi Party has also set its sights on Goa after a disastrous campaign in the earlier election, where the Congress emerged as the single largest party. Yet, the Aam Aadmi Party seems non-committal so far, in spite of the TMC's keenness to come together. Aam Aadmi Party's Atishi says there will be no alliance with the TMC, so there is no question of any talks with them.
The TMC says it's here as the Congress has failed to be an effective opposition. With the grand old party facing regional defections even on the day Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra was visiting last week.
Difference between Congress and Trinamool Congress is we are not keyboard warriors, we are real warriors. We are not a party which only exists in the yardsticks of Twitter and Facebook. We are a party which is out there in the ground.
A depleted Congress and divided opposition directly helps the BJP in Goa. The Trinamool Congress is keen on a tie-up with the Aam Aadmi Party, but the Aam Aadmi Party seems disinterested and reluctant. The BJP, which faces anti-incumbency, is watching this space closely. With camera person Praveen Ji Rohit, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
And let's go across to Anurag Dwari, who's reporting on a man being shot dead at a wedding in Madhya Pradesh. Anurag, there's a video that's gone viral now of this wedding. Cell phone videos of this attack, they're being circulated online, and it just shows complete pandemonium as panic-stricken guests are running around trying to get away from these men. What do we know about these attackers?
Yes, Sarah. 3 men have been arrested in the case, and a protest was also held in Mandsaur last evening and today also. And many of the protesters claim that the attackers belong to the local units of VHP and Bajrang Dal, but the police are yet to confirm if the man belonged to any right-wing group. Yesterday at around 2 p.m., a few of the attackers shouting Jai Shri Ram slogans as told by the eyewitnesses. They had barged into the wedding celebrations in Mandsaur, organized by the followers of self-styled godman Rampal. This happened in Bhaisoda Mandi village, which is around 100-150 kilometers from Mandsaur district headquarters. And the main accused, Shailendra Meena, who had shot Devilal Meena, a former 2-time Sarpanch of Jamunia village, and he is also a BJP supporter, the Sarpanch who was shot dead. But Shailendra Meena, the main accused, is still absconding. Devilal was declared dead by doctors after being referred to a hospital in Kota in neighboring Rajasthan. And a case was registered against 11 people, and 3 of them have been arrested, and they have been identified as Kamal Patidar, Lalit Sutar and Mangal. Sarah?
All right, Anurag Dwari reporting there. Thank you. We'll follow up on this story through you, of course.